Okay, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We'll give just one more moment to allow everybody to get connected, but thank you so much for being with us. And as you're waiting, just go ahead and keep yourself muted. It looks like everybody is in. Beautiful. I think we can get started. So hello again. My name is Celia Castro. I am the Associate Director for Orientation and Transition Programs, and I am so excited to be joined today by my colleagues from Residential Life and Housing. Our two offices are gearing up for an incredible next couple of weeks where we will welcome the entire Pacific community to our campus, our Stockton campus, including our new students and our new family members. And I'm so pleased to see that there's so many of us tonight. Knowing that there's a lot of information that will be coming your way over the next couple of weeks, we wanted to have this webinar just to share some of the major highlight points that we want to ensure everybody knows about and is just jotting down as they're preparing to come to campus, notably about the move-in experience, the new student and family orientation experience, and what our new students can expect throughout the entirety of Pacific Welcome Week. So that's just a little preview of what we will be covering tonight. This session is being recorded. If you would like us to send you the recording once it becomes available, as well as the slides that you'll see in today's presentation, go ahead and send an email to orientation@pacific.edu. I'll give that info at the end of this presentation again, and we'll be happy to send that to you tomorrow. In addition to our residential life colleagues, I am also joined by my colleagues from orientation, Molly Strout, who is our coordinator. You'll see popping up at various points across Pacific Welcome, as well as one of our fantastic student orientation leaders, Cassandra Jackson. So before we get any deep into the fun, again, folks, just make sure that you are muted throughout this presentation. We will provide sufficient time for you to ask questions either throughout the presentation or right after we finish all of the slides. So without further ado, I will turn it over to my colleague in Residential Life and Housing, Charlotte Stackpole. Charlotte?
Hello, everyone, and good evening. It is an absolute pleasure to be here today with such a large crowd. It looks like there's well over 250 participants. We are very excited to see you on campus here in just a few short weeks, and our office, along with Celia's office, are busily getting ready for you. I don't have any specific slides to share, but wanted to make sure that we talked about a few important dates and highlights coming up, and then allow a few minutes for housing questions specifically, and then about I will turn the presentation back to Celia for orientation and welcome week information. So first of all, I wanted to again say hello, my name is Charlotte Stackpole. Our housing phone number, for those of you taking notes, is 209-946-2331. And our housing email is iamhome@pacific.edu. And when I'm done talking, I will drop those in the chat for you so you have them. Move-in day is rapidly approaching. All of our first year students and actually all of our campus, we will be welcoming back on August 19th, which is a Saturday. Move-in day will be occurring from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And within the next few days, you will get a newsletter from our office sort of detailing what time your student will be moving in. If you have travel plans or your specifically assigned time conflicts with a plane flight, definitely let us know and we will work with you. But our schedule will help us create a traffic flow for allowing all of our students to return and to move in. We will send out another newsletter reminding you what to bring, what not to bring. Please do follow us on social media at Pacific RLH. We've included our newsletter and information about things to bring and not to bring, and just tips about move-in day will be posted there as well. Also on move-in day on the 19th, we will be having a move-in fair to welcome you and your families to Stockton and help you get acclimated to this area and to the community and to the campus in general. We will be having over 50 vendors from the local Stockton community present on our campus. that you can walk through, visit, talk through, and that will be everything from the haircuts to nails to restaurants on the Miracle Mile to Target and all things that your student might need to access while they are in this area. So we very much look forward to meeting you. Your student should have their housing assignment, which is viewable through the housing portal. They should see their housing and dining bill on their student account. I think those were due yesterday, August 1st. I'm going to pause there and allow about 10 minutes for general housing questions. And then, like I said, I will go ahead and pass that over to Celia. So I think Molly might be monitoring the chat, and you feel free to unmute yourself if you do have a question.
Hello, I'm a father of an incoming freshman.
Wonderful.
And I learn through reading as opposed to hearing information.
Okay.
So the information that you just shared in terms of phone numbers, email addresses, etc., if there was a single slide with those on them that we could look at while you say it, would really help some of us understand what you're trying to communicate.
I will absolutely put that in the chat. I very much appreciate you saying that. I will add my name, my phone number, my email. I will also include a link to mypacific.edu, which is the hub for your student for all of their information. I see Celia nodding. In the next coming days, we will be posting all sorts of information about move-in on social media and at mypacific.edu for your students to access. So for those, like you said, that learn via reading and like to have papers to refer, information to refer back to, we will absolutely be including all of that in written form and sent to families and posted for students.
I just have a question about the room assignments. If they're assigned room bed A or B, does that matter which one, or how do you know which one's which?
Understood. That's a great question. So A is typically the bed on the left walking into the room, and B is the bed on the right walking into the room.
Okay, thank you.
You are so very welcome.
I have a question. My daughter was given 2 roommates, but on the website, it looks like the room only has doubles. The dorm only has doubles.
We do have a handful of triples in the buildings, and students who maybe requested multiple roommates were given a triple room. If you have a specific question, I'll drop again our email in the chat here, and you can send it to me. So I'll be happy to look that up and address that specifically. But if she's listed with 2 roommates, then she's in a room large enough to be a triple.
Perfect. Thank you.
You are so welcome.
One thing I noticed is we know what our move-in date is, but we don't know our specific move-in time. Where would we find that?
That will be sent out to you here within the next couple of days, and it will also be posted on our social media channels as well as in My Pacific.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I read that there are adjustable beds in there, but I'm wondering if they should bring risers to raise the bed up just a little bit so that the dresser can fit underneath the bed.
A good question. We actually don't need risers. The beds will raise up high enough to be able to slide the 3-drawer bureau underneath it.
Okay, thanks.
Something
Also, have air conditioning.
The halls are all central air. So the rooms are not air conditioned. They are not individually controlled air conditioners. It is a building. It's central AC.
Okay, thanks.
I have a question about accessing the building. Are they given like a key card, or is it through their ID card, or how does that work?
Yeah, so swipe access gets loaded onto their student ID card, and they swipe into their building and they key into their room. So they'll be given a key on move-in day, and their swipe access will be added to them.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. So my daughter was initially assigned a roommate, and another freshman had reached out to her wanting to room with her. And that person does not have a roommate. How do we go about changing room assignments or roommates?
Got it. You are welcome to email I Am Home if you have a specific question, but I will say with the caveat that we are still accepting students, and students are still being assigned to spaces. So we are not really processing room changes at this point. We will have a room change event on September 14th that will be shared with your student. And that will be after the add drop period has passed. So we know who's here, who's not, where we have open spaces, those kinds of things.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You are so welcome. I think we have time for about 2 more questions, and then I'll be happy to put my information in the chat and also monitor the chat for a few extra minutes.
Sorry, I have another question just about, my son's bringing a car.
Okay.
And we're in Texas, so we're actually shipping the car.
Okay.
And we need a physical address for it to be shipped to. And we're trying to work out how we do that. Well, I mean, we've got the carrier and everything. We just don't know what actual address and point do we ship it to at the college.
That is an excellent question. I would you please email me specifically? Put I am home at pacific.edu, Angela. And my name is Charlotte. If you put attention Charlotte in the email and ask me that, I have some thoughts about that. And that involves also public safety, just so they know a car is coming to campus. So let's chat offline about it.
Okay, thank you.
You are absolutely welcome.
I have a quick question. Are refrigerators and microwaves allowed to be brought into the room?
Yes, that is an excellent question. So yes, they are, as long as they are the smaller ones, not an industrial kitchen size refrigerator. It draws too much electricity. So as long as they're the smaller ones, we also work with, oh, I'm going to draw a blank on the name. I'll put it in the chat in a minute. It's something concepts, Collegiate Concepts. It was just posted on our social media channel. So you can actually rent microfridges and refrigerators as well. So I'll put that in the chat also.
Thank you. And do you know the dimensions of the rooms?
The best visuals and dimensions are listed on our website, pacific.edu. That'll give you a 360 picture as well as some measurements.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I'm mindful of time. I want to hand the floor back to Celia and her team, so I'm respectful of your time as well. Like I said, I will shift my attention to the chat and add my name and information. I'll also answer a few more questions as they come up. And then please encourage your student to look at mypacific.edu, the housing pages. All of that will be jam-packed with information here in the next couple of days.
Thank you so much, Charlotte.
Look forward to seeing you all on Move-In Day. Thanks, Celia.
Thank you. And thank you all for asking your questions. I can see there are a few more coming in through our Q&A feature. You should see that at the bottom of your screen. There may be a question that you have and didn't get a chance to ask live, and there may be an answer that you're looking for in that Q&A. So our team will continue answering that as we move on to this next segment. And I will be iterating a few of the points that Charlotte brought up for those of you who joined our webinar a little bit late. Again, this session is being recorded, so if you miss any information or you'd like a copy of these slides, please email orientation@pacific.edu. That will be on the last slide that you'll see with us, and we'll be happy to provide that to you when it becomes available. Okay, go ahead and hit the next slide. So Pacific Welcome Week. That is, as you will, as you've gotten the gist of, and as you will continue to see in our correspondence with you over the next couple of weeks, that is what we call collectively the experiences of move-in, new student orientation and family orientation, new student convocation, and week of welcome. So it's actually a little bit longer than a week, but this is our big week of transition and welcome programming for our Pacific community that happens just the week before classes start. So I will be covering particularly what you and your student can expect across new student orientation, including what's required, what's optional, what engagement opportunities there will be, along with next step details for your student. Next slide. Okay, so as Charlotte mentioned, the move-in day for our new students will be August 19th. You'll see that we share details. This will be happening in our DeRosa University ballroom, which is our big student center on campus. And just to make it a little bit more convenient, Our orientation check-in will also be happening in that very room. So your student will have a one-stop shop to not only pick up their keys for their residential community, they'll be able to pick up their orientation materials, as well as their Pacific ID card. I heard that there was a question earlier about swiping into buildings. That is when your student will get their ID card for that. So those three important things they'll get in one place. And we are requiring for our residential students, so those living in our on-campus housing, to check in for their orientation. You'll see our tables in that room on the day that they move into campus. So you'll have your appointment time anytime between 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Once you get your keys, just head over to our particular tables to get your orientation materials, which will include a printed program of the week's events, your badge, which will have which orientation group you are with, and a few more essential student details. And if you do have family members who also would like to participate in orientation or who have already registered, we will have our family orientation check-in right next to the student side, as well as an on-site table. If there are any parent fees that still need to be paid or questions for new student onboarding, will be one place for all of this to happen. If there are any students who are non-residential, so you are not living in our on-campus housing, your orientation check-in day, oops, I noticed a little error on this. It will be August 20th. From 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. You can always come August 19th on the Saturday if you aren't available in the Sunday morning period, but we do want to keep those distinctions. So residential students check in at the same time for orientation when you move in. Non-residential students come the next day, Sunday, August 20th, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. for your orientation materials. And both of those dates are required. You have to pick it up either on the Saturday or the Sunday. And again, families registered for orientation will check in for it at the same time as their student. Go ahead and next slide. Okay, so looking across these couple of days, the first few days of Pacific Welcome Week, really drawing attention to when students and families are together and what to expect across those days. So again, Saturday, August 19th, largely the move-in for our campus is happening. Sunday, August 20th, as we get into the afternoon of that day, we will continue our welcome activities that will be open to all students and all family members. And in the evening of that day is what we like to call pre-orientation. Sunday, August 20th at 4 p.m. will be the first time your student will have a required activity or event that they have to go to as part of their orientation experience, which I will talk about in just a few slides. And then we kick into the official orientation program, Monday, August 21st. The students will go through separate tracks, whether they are a first-year student, transfer student, or an international student. And our family members will also be going through their track of orientation. Family orientation is a one-day experience, full-day experience. So once we finish with the activities for the day on that Monday, families, we bid you goodbye for everything. You will not participate in any other welcome or orientation activities. If you by chance are not registered for orientation, so you are not attending the program with your students, you will say goodbye to your student after they move in, essentially. We will, as I said, have welcome activities that you can participate in, but for families on that Sunday, it is optional. Just want to make that distinction. And then our students will continue their orientation experience on Tuesday, August 22nd. Don't worry, families, we'll take very good care of them. And we'll continue their Welcome Week events for the rest of the week. So we'll get into the next slide. Again, orientation is a mandatory experience for all incoming students. If in the case of an emergency or something happens, please let us know that you cannot attend orientation. Go ahead and email us as you see on the screen, orientation@pacific.edu. But otherwise, please make it a priority to attend the required sessions and activities. Students, you can log into your admitted student portal, the same place that you accepted your admissions to Pacific, and register for orientation. Register yourself for orientation and register and pay for family members or guests that want to attend orientation with you, and all in that one place. Unfortunately, we cannot offer makeup orientation sessions, and we do not issue refunds for missed orientation dates. And so if you miss our program, sorry, but we will not be able to offer, in most cases, an alternative option for you. But across the full week of the Pacific Welcome Week, you will continue to learn about resources, meet campus partners and academic faculty and staff who will be a part of your first year experience here at Pacific, or your transfer student experience. And so you will still get information and resources, but those 2 days of orientation are critical steps as part of your transition to the university. Go ahead and next slide. So again, just to highlight some of the fantastic sessions that or events that Charlotte highlighted on the Saturday move-in day. Besides checking into your housing and orientation, there are no required student commitments other than those 2 things, but we strongly encourage students and parents to participate in our welcome activities. For the student side, you'll be able to attend our community fair that's also open to families and any guests with you, happening right outside our DeRosa University Center ballroom on the lawn area. Our Pacific Recreation partners will offer a family climb activity at our rock tower in the Bowen Fitness Center. And our students living on campus will be able to participate in a pool party and games with the residential life and housing teams, just to start getting acquainted on their first night on campus. Families, we have an option to attend a parent and family social just for you at the residence of our university president, Chris Callahan, and First Lady Jean Callahan. That will be from 6:30 to 7:30. Again, this is optional. You are not required to attend, but this is a unique event, especially for you on that Saturday, August 19th. Next slide. Going into Sunday, August 20th, again, there are no required student commitments other than checking in for orientation, or if you had a late check-in time for move-in, until 4 p.m. on this day. But we do, again, strongly encourage students and family members to attend the rest of our welcome events on this earlier part of the day, which will include, for our students, if you still need to take placement exams, you'll have a couple of window times to do that in this day. Our orientation leader teams will be out on the lawn doing icebreakers and games for our students to start making friends and connections with each other. The whole family is invited to our women's soccer game that will be happening on campus at about 1 o'clock on this day. Come out and support our fantastic women's soccer team. As well as all of our equity and inclusion areas, our affinity groups will be hosting meet and greets, open houses. And those areas will include El Centro, Native American Student Services, our LGBTQ+ student services, Black student services, our military and veterans, our Asian Pacific Islander and DESI student services, as well as First Gen. This is a fantastic opportunity to stop by these offices and meet the teams who will be playing parts of an important part of your success as a student. And for our families, at that same time, you will have unique welcome sessions and info sessions talking about a variety of different issues, particularly centered on families of transfer students, families from out of the area, as well as a session with our office about how you can stay involved and connected in your students' collegiate experience at Pacific by joining the Parent and Family Board. And there will also be a bilingual session for Spanish-speaking families. Next slide. Okay, so again, at 4 p.m., that's the first time that new students will have a required session that they need to attend. This is a very critical one. It will be at 4 p.m. on our DeRosa University Center lawn, and that will be their first meetup with their orientation leader and their other group mates. So the orientation leader will provide essential information and reminders for the student as they go across the orientation program and the rest of the week. Again, students will be placed into groups, and that information will be on their badge that they receive at check-in. And typically the groups are organized by a student's major, school, or their program. So they will get to meet other students that they will be in classes with, and potentially even live in the same residential community. Students and families are invited to stay after this 4 p.m. Required session for our President's Welcome Reception. This will be the entire Pacific community that will come together for the opening remarks by President Chris Callahan, and we'll share and dinner together before we bid farewell to family members not participating in orientation, and just before those students living on campus attend a mandatory meeting at their buildings with their resident assistant at 8 p.m. So lots of happening across this Saturday and Sunday, as you can see. Next slide. Now getting into day one of orientation. Again, this is the first full day of the orientation program, and all new students and all family members registered for orientation participate in a full day of activities. We will offer breakfast beginning at 8 a.m. On our Knowles lawn. From there, we will begin the required sessions of the orientation program roughly from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on that day one. After 5 p.m., our families are invited to stay for an official family farewell social and dinner, where you'll get to meet your student's academic dean along with your student. You'll all have dinner together. And then following dinner, that is officially when we say farewell to any and all parents still left on campus. As I said, your student will continue the evening with engagement activities with the orientation group and experience a second full day of orientation. So if you're planning ahead and just looking right now at hotel accommodations, that Monday, August 21st, that will be the last day that you'll be on campus as a family member. Next slide. Okay, day two, it's just students around this day. We will have breakfast available to you beginning at 8 a.m. on our Knowles lawn. This is where all of the meals for orientation will take place. Our first year students will be in required orientation sessions from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on this day. Our transfer students have a little bit more flexibility. They will be in required sessions from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and have some optional activities from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. That really get you acquainted with some select campus resources, particularly undergraduate research opportunities, our career services, among others, to help get you acquainted to our campus with some relevant issues for transition issues for our transfer students. Following orientation required sessions after 5 p.m., now we officially kick into Week of Welcome, which is as the acronym for that is WOW. It truly is a WOW week. Lots of fun and collaborative events are happening beginning that evening. Following orientation, we will have all-out engagement programming across our DeRosa University Center and continuing into the week. Next slide. So Wednesday, August 23rd is Academic Day in WOW, a whole day devoted to our academic celebrations for our new students. Beginning first with our new student convocation. This is one of the big traditions that we have for our new students on our campus to start their collegiate experience at Pacific. That will be beginning at 10:30. Students will be brought over by their resident assistants and join their class of incoming students in this official academic welcome from university administrators, faculty, staff, our board of regents, alumni, and quite literally the entirety of our Pacific community will come out for this celebration. But the big point of this day is in our afternoon. So orientation leaders will be guiding students to their faculty advising appointments this afternoon, roughly from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Your students right now are having their schedules built for them, and they are being registered by their school for their fall 2023 classes. So we've been getting a lot of questions about, when do I get my classes? When do I register? You are being registered for your fall 2023 classes by your school or your program. So you will not need to register yourself. But what you will do in this day, August 23rd, in your academic day, you will get to meet your faculty advisor, who is there to assist you with questions that you might have about your classes, make any last minute adjustments, or to, in general, help cast a vision of your academic program. That is all that's happening in the afternoon of August 23rd. And each of your schools will also have some engagement programming for you to enjoy, meet other professors, and get to know your fellow students in your college on this day. Next slide. Okay, so from that evening of August 23rd through Sunday, August 27th.
Your screen's not moving.
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry to interrupt. But the slide is not moving to the next one. And we're just seeing Sunday pre-orientation on the slide here on the screen. I don't know if it's just me or everybody else is the same.
Everything looks okay on my screen, but I'm sorry if anybody's having that same issue. Again, we'll be sure to send out these slides and the recording after once it becomes available.
Okay, thank you.
So again, from the evening of Wednesday, August 23rd through Sunday, August 27th, that's where we will have these immersive and engaging WOW events. We have a pretty fantastic schedule for our students to enjoy. I've listed just a couple of events that they can start to look forward to. The activities that happen in officially this WOW period, they are not required for students to attend. But students are strongly encouraged to attend these activities, which will include a big takeover of our local Stockton Target. It's just right down the street from Pacific. Students will be able to load into buses. The store is closing it fully down for us to enjoy in that evening of August 23rd. So if you didn't bring an item or wanting to buy some more swag or decorations for your residential room, this will be a great opportunity for you to do that within the welcome week. We'll have a take care fair where you'll get to know a lot more about our wellness and health services on campus. You can look forward as well to some engagement activities with our ASUOP, or Associated Students of University of the Pacific, our big student government organization on campus, who throw our annual block party concert with live music, games, food, the works. We will also do a big campus resource and involvement fair, the Tiger Fair, on that week. To get you more acquainted to the Stockton community, if you are not familiar, we are also going to do a takeover of our local Miracle Mile, which is a stretch of about 10 blocks or so from our campus that is filled with local businesses, local restaurants, a fantastic scene for students, everybody to enjoy. and we will be taking over that area on one of the evenings. And as a community, we will come together as Week of Welcome closes with a day of service. Our entire campus will be engaged in community projects across the city of Stockton, and starting to make a lot of great connections for our students to develop Pacific's value of giving back to our community and being leaders, servant leaders to our local areas. So a couple of events just to get you excited about what to expect during WOW. Next slide, please. Okay, so some next steps. This cannot be iterated enough. We need your students to check their Pacific email. Our office almost exclusively communicates through Pacific email, not personal email. And over the next week, actually, you will start receiving the full information about Pacific Welcome Week, which will include schedules of all of the events that I mentioned in each of the days. As Charlotte mentioned, we will also have information about move-in, what to expect, what to bring, instructions for when to move in, and all of those details. And of course, for orientation reminders. Again, if you are following along with your new student checklist, there are a number of action items that you've been completing across this summer, that there's some deadlines for you coming up. So make sure to check the Pacific website for access to that admitted student checklist. And for up-to-date information and news, you'll definitely want to follow both the Residential Life and Housing office and our orientation office on Instagram. Both of us are very active over there, and we will share up-to-date information with you all in case information gets buried in your email. I know we send you a lot, but those are two great additional resources for you. I think I have one more slide or so. Perfect. Again, here is the information for questions relating to housing. I am home at pacific.edu, as well as for our office orientation at pacific.edu. We are happy to answer not only orientation questions for students and families, but any and all new student onboarding questions. So if you have issues about your checklist or questions about what to bring for orientation, for example, send all of those inquiries to our orientation email account. Molly will also put into our chat our offices, the rest of our offices contact information. So phone numbers, you'll see here in my Zoom box, I've listed my Pacific email, ccastro@pacific.edu. If you want to make sure you talk to a live person, I'm happy to answer your questions directly. I think we are at time. So again, folks, if you do want a recording of this presentation or the slides, we are happy to provide that for you. We have our contact information in the chat for you to see, or you can email me directly, ccastro@pacific.edu. I'll be happy to provide that for you. But we are looking forward to welcoming you in just a few short weeks to our campus. I'll stick around for just a few moments to answer any last minute questions, but thank you on behalf of my colleagues, and we'll see you soon, folks. Have a good evening.